Alright guys, so I have had non-stop requests now to do a review or an installation video or everything that you need to have nitrous work properly on your Mustang. I'm gonna try and combine it into one video. I can't really do the installation as it's already been done. I can show you how I installed mine, but this is kind of up to personal preference on how you want it to look, if you want to hide stuff, and how in-depth you're going to go, as well as what parts you actually choose to purchase for the kit. So I'm gonna do my best on that. But what I can tell you is that I will give you 1, a review on how I feel about nitrous. 2, how much power I think the car makes. Now, I don't know for sure as it hasn't been on the dyno, and honestly, it's probably not going on the dyno, and I'll give you a reason for that a little bit later. But if you're interested in putting nitrous on your Mustang, and this does not just apply to a 2018, this applies to a 2011 and up Coyote Mustang, stay tuned, we'll have a little bit of fun. Alright guys, so let's take a minute here and see what it looks like in the engine bay, and then I'll go over what exactly I purchased for the kit, what my recommendations are if you intend on going nitrous, and pretty much my overall satisfaction with how the installation went and how it looks. Alright, for the past like 3 weeks, it has been nothing but rain here in Florida, so that's going to be my biggest excuse as to why I didn't get this video out sooner. As you can see now, it's sunny, it is hot as fuck, and that gives me the opportunity to make this for you guys. So let's take a look at the engine bay back here, and I'll show you the ins and outs of what we did. Alright, so let's take a look at the engine bay here. You can see right there, I've got my solenoids. That is pretty much all that you're going to see of the nitrous kit, with the exception of back there, we've got my line for the Purge, which goes out the vents in the hood, which I thought was a little bit unique, so I wanted to be different. You can see right there, like I said, you've got your solenoids. If we walk around to the side, I do have the engine cover on, which does hide a lot of the wiring. You can see I've got my 2 relays right there that go directly to battery power, that power the solenoids and basically activate the solenoids once the ground is activated from inside by the master control switch. You really can't see a lot underneath the hood, and I wanted it installed this way. I wanted you to be able to pop the hood at a car show or at an event, and to have the general consensus of people stare at the engine bay and go, oh look, it's got a cold air, and that's it. And then you have a couple of the smarter ones who, you know, obviously will notice the nice big solenoids down there, and or the extra line coming out the top. But like I said, from the engine bay, there's not really a lot that shows you that there's nitrous on this car. Alright, so if we go inside here, I can show you a little bit of the interior work that had to be done for it. So I've got my Nitrous Controller here. And if we look at it, I use the Nitrous Outlet WinMax. This is a 2-stage controller, and also lets you control by RPM, throttle position, gear. It's extremely nice, and it does all the functions that I wanted it to do. If you look down on the left hand side here, what used to be my sunglass holder, which I'm actually inconvenienced with now, I actually never realized how much I like this thing until I filled it up. If you give it a little push here, you can see we've got our switch panel. So I've got my master arm switch right here, I've got my bottle heater here, I've got a bottle opener which isn't required, and you'll see why in a minute here, and then I've also got the Purge. As far as actual wiring for this project goes, it's going to be extremely hard to show you guys. Up underneath the footwell over here, there is a hole which goes out into the front fender well. Directly back inside here, it's where a lot of the wiring harnesses are already run for the car. So I simply pulled my fender liner and ran the nitrous line and everything else through there, and then down underneath here, all the way back, until you get back to our nice little friend back here. Now, I will say that it's recommended to mount a nitrous bottle facing the other way. So you have the back of it here, or the bottom of it per se, facing the back of the car, so that momentum, because nitrous oxide is liquid, kind of forces it into the tube as you accelerate. I don't have it that way because I do use a bottle heater, as you can see on there, which does heat up the bottle, provides more pressure, and allows you to get it back out efficiently without having the bottle facing the direct way. But this is kind of makeshift for now until I delete the rear seat back up in here. As you can see, I've got a lot of random shit in it. Delete the rear seat there and put a bottle bracket on the rear seat delete. So, like I said earlier, I don't have an automatic bottle opener, and I know that actually a lot of people don't use it. They just open the bottle when they go to the track. Well, mine being back here behind the rear seat, I can just kind of reach back here, and if you listen, there goes the nitrous. So I can just reach back. It is a little bit of a pain in the ass. It takes me 10 seconds or so to undo the bottle, which isn't really great if you're like just driving down the street and you decide you want it open, but it's not too terrible, and it was easier than mounting it in the trunk, running the line all the way back there, and drilling holes into my trunk, which I really didn't want to do on not necessarily a brand new car now, but, you know, my only car right now. So as far as wiring the system up goes, everything's tied into the switch panel here. So that being the master arm switch, literally nothing will work unless this arm switch is on. And this arm switch is on a 12-volt keyed source. So if I flick it over now, the car's off, nothing's going to happen. You can't turn it on. I can't turn my bottle heater on. You can't turn anything on. My purge does work because, you know, show car reasons, I guess. No, honestly, I wired up the purge. All of these are soldered together underneath, and the purge just ended up having its own ground source, and so because of that, it now fires with the car off. So we'll start the car up here and I'll show you. Alright, so if you look down now, you can see the lights off. If I flick it, you can see the lights on now. Same thing with the bottle heater, so I can flick both of those on, and that's keyed on power, which is actually the biggest recommendation I can make to this, because you don't want any of this stuff left on when you turn your car off. If you turn your car off and your arm switch is still powered on and your bottle heater is on, and you don't have a bottle heater that regulates its own pressure, then you're going to overheat your bottle, and your bottle is going to rupture, or at least the diaphragm that they put in for overpressurizing is going to rupture, and then you're going to lose your entire tank, and it's going to go all over in your car, and it's just not going to be a fun time. So when you're setting up your nitrous switch, if you decide to do nitrous, make sure this arm switch goes to a 12-volt keyed source and not directly to the battery like a lot of people do. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the parts that actually went into this. So I have an 11 to 17 nitrous outlet hardline plate kit. So being a plate kit, it means there's a plate that goes in between the throttle body, which I'll show you shortly, and it has two separate solenoids which provide fuel as well as nitrous, so it's a wet kit. There are options to do dry kits. Dry kits were very heavily used back on old carbureted motors. It was just the way that we did things because we didn't have a way to provide extra fuel to them, and I mean, it worked. But it's a little bit more dangerous if your tune isn't bang on and if your fueling doesn't go appropriately. So doing a wet shot kit now ensures that you get proper fueling. I am on E85, I'm not on 93. You can run 93 with nitrous. I prefer E85 though, it's safer, allows you to run a higher shot, and it has a higher octane when burning, so you gain more power overall. So I was going to show you the plate kit. It's really hard to see here. If you look directly down where those lines are going, that is the plate kit that is smashed in between the throttle body and the intake manifold there. So, you know, you can see a red and a black line. That's my fuel and my nitrous line. Now, other than just the nitrous outlet kit, there were a lot of other parts that went into this. As I showed you on the interior, I have a nitrous outlet WinMax controller, which is the quote-unquote second best controller that they offer. They do offer a Pro Max, which has a plethora of more features, but none of them were really necessary for the basic nitrous job that I was doing right now. So the WinMax gets it done for me. I have the WinMax, I have a Fuel Plus booster pump from Lethal Performance. They were kind enough to send one out to me. That makes sure that I get the proper amount of fueling, and it's done its job extremely well. There's a lot of companies that make them, but money for the value, Lethal Performance with their Fuel Plus booster pump, 110% would recommend. Okay, now, we talked about fueling, we talked about the kit itself, and we talked about the controller. The other pieces that you're going to need kind of depend on where you want to go with the kit. The rest of the parts that you choose to put into your kit are kind of up to you, but I'll give you some recommendations. Purge Kit, not necessary, but it is helpful. It gets air out of your nitrous line so that you ensure that you get a clean nitrous shot, and it also helps with consistency. Bottle heaters, again, not 100% recommend, or not 100% necessary, 100% recommended. Not necessary, but a bottle heater will allow you to maintain optimal pressure, so you get more consistent runs out of your bottle, and as you start to use more of the nitrous and the pressure drops, you still get that full hit because it maintains pressure for you. Nitrous outlet is awesome, and they provide one that heats up based off of bottle pressure. So you put a sensor on the bottle and set it for a specific pressure, and it maintains that pressure. So you don't have to worry about over-pressurizing and having to purge and use up half a bottle just to get it back down to the pressure that you need to spray. So highly, highly, highly recommend a nitrous outlet bottle heater there. I made my own bracket. I would recommend buying a billet bottle bracket from either Nitrous Outlet, Amazon, anybody really, they all work. If you're planning to tackle this on a 2011 and up Mustang as intended, you're probably going to need an MSD tack adapter, which is where you tap into one of your coils and it provides a tack signal to the controller that you have, which allows RPMs to be read, because the 11 and up Mustangs actually read a digital signal, which the Nitrous Outlet, WinMax, and MSD, and pretty much any of the other control boxes do not read that digital signal. So you have to convert it into something that they'll be able to read. So you may or may not need a MSD tack signal adapter there. And honestly, one of the most overlooked things with nitrous is your tuner. And it's gonna sound like I'm a sellout and like I'm pushing a single company here, but Lund. All the way, Lund. They know what they're doing. They've done thousands upon thousands upon thousands of cars, and they will work with you until it is exactly right. And when I say exactly right, I mean it. I mean, the car pulls insanely, insanely well, and I look at logs afterwards just because I want to know a little bit more about the car, and I'm hoping to learn how to tune down the line. But looking at the logs, every single aspect of it is immaculate. The fueling is perfect, the timing is perfect, and it makes optimum power where you want it to. So if I had to recommend a place to go get a tune, Lund. All right, guys, so now that we went over a little bit of what's in the car and how it's set up, albeit a very small amount of how it's set up, I'm going to go for a drive and show you the daily drivability with nitrous and why it's so fucking cool in the way that it applies power, and then do a pull or two to give you an idea of what to expect if you put nitrous on your car. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you a little bit of the drivability of the nitrous right now. So I've got the kit armed and heated just so that I can heat up the bottle for when we do the actual pull or two. So I'm gonna back it out of the driveway here. We're gonna do, like I said, thank you, car. We're gonna do a couple of regular pulls just so that you guys can get an idea of how the car pulls without nitrous, and then we'll do a couple of pulls with nitrous. Alright guys, so we are out doing a little bit of driving around now. I just wanted to show you the drivability of having nitrous on your car. It will drive just like a stock car until you turn the system on. So the bottle heater and the system are off right now because I have no need for them to be on until we do the pulls on spray. So we're gonna find a nice little bit of road here. I'm gonna show you how the car pulls off nitrous, and then I'll do a pull or two on nitrous just so that you can see the difference in between having a headers E85 intake car versus a 150 shot. Do a little bit of a pull here without nitrous, just so that you can get an idea. This is first gear. That was first through a portion of third. I mean, it's no slouch, but it's definitely not what it feels like on nitrous. Let's turn around here, get a little bit of a pull with the bottle, and I won't be able to go from first or second gear because of the torque that you get spraying nitrous, but we'll give it a shot here. Alright Alright guys, so I'm going to turn the kit on, master power, as well as the bottle heater here, and then as soon as we get to the stop sign, I'm going to turn traction control off. The reason I'm going to turn traction control off is not because I want to spin a lot, it's because if I leave traction control on, the car is going to pull timing and fuel to try and prevent the spinning, and in turn makes the car run really lean, which is super dangerous for it. So I need to get a fuel pressure safety switch, but you know, for right now, I don't have one. So here's gonna be a pull on the 150 shot. Spin nearly as bad as I thought it was going to for having traction control off and having some Nito NT555 G2s there. So that is a summer tire with like a 320 tread wear, and that actually did pretty good. I'm pretty proud of it right there. So yeah, that was a pull on 150 shot. I'm not sure if you can see the difference, but I could definitely feel it. Now, if you pay attention closely to the clip before, or if you rewind and watch, you'll see that the nitrous doesn't hit until 3,000 RPM. That's based off of the controller that I have is set to do a 3,000 RPM on, 7,200 RPM off, as well as I have to be at 90% throttle. Not only that, but I went the extra mile because it's a manual car to ensure that my clutch has to be all the way out prior to it spraying. So I've actually got a physical button switch down there that as soon as I touch it, I don't know if you can hear that click cuts a ground, which prevents the controller from allowing the nitrous to spray, ensuring that my pedal has to be out all the way. So nitrous doesn't spray in between shifts, and it's not going to spray if I use the factory launch control. So those are the two biggest safeties that I would recommend having. You can set your nitrous up just to run off RPM or just to run off of a wide open throttle switch. I recommend doing both, as well as having that clutch switch. And even furthermore, if you really want to go the line, you can put a Hobbs switch on your fuel line, which is basically a fuel pressure regulator that's going to regulate the pressure and acts as a ground towards the solenoids. And if your fuel pressure drops below a specified amount, it's going to cut the nitrous. That way you can't do what I said earlier and run lean. So I myself, if I want to use the factory launch control, which requires you to have traction control on, need to put a Hobbs switch on. I'm highly considering getting an MSD two-step though, so that I can turn traction control off and still have launch availability. All right, let's see if we can get another little baby pull in right here. That is an example of what happens when you use nitrous without traction control with street tires on. It wants to go somewhere. It's definitely not straight. So that is my review of the nitrous outlet nitrous kit for the 2018 Mustang, or 2011 through 2018. It works for all of them. If you have any other questions on it, drop them down in the comments below. Send me a DM on YouTube, DM on Instagram. I am more than happy to help discuss products with you and or anything that you need. You know, any help on it at all. If you guys can't tell, I really enjoy it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed watching the video. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Drop me a follow on Instagram, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep you guys updated.